We are live for no particular reason because the internet's down and I can't use my resources. So we'll just do it this way. I got a thumbs up. Ain't even said nothing good yet. That's probably just because of the sound of my voice. Hey, Clifford, Christy. This is ordinarily a Bible study, but I didn't prepare one tonight because, well, I've been fighting with power outages and frozen trees and yeah, all kinds of fun stuff. The ice isn't even all, it's still on the house. I think we're up to trees just on our property. We're up to 5 broken or damaged trees so far. One of them's big. The biggest, oldest tree we have on the property, it dropped it broke a, I don't know, probably 12 or 14-inch limb, came down on top of something else. I'm really hoping it didn't mess up my son's trailer that I borrowed. We'll kind of missed my canoe by a few inches and missed my camper shell by a few inches. It's actually kept that stuff under it to give it a little protection from hail. No snow. Well, we got a little snow. Mostly ice. We got rain, freezing rain, snow, sleet, freezing rain, snow, and freezing drizzle. The catchment barrels that are full, they had about, I didn't actually measure, just eyeballing it, somewhere between 2.5 and 3 inches of accumulation on top of them of ice. So, and the ice that was breaking off of the trees was 1.5 inches thick or so. It got bad enough that the ice has apparently broken the radio tower for the internet. Who we got in here? And it's going to be hard to keep up with who's in here. So, got Aid, Carol, Team Foco has officially acknowledged sun cycles. Oh yeah, I've been, big time frozen tree, Clifford. Whoa, that went too far. Christy, Clifford, Aid, Uncle Al, Carol, Steve. Yeah, we had a ice storm Did it ice all the way down to Odessa or not? I think it did. I think it put ice all the way down to just north of Odessa, maybe in Odessa, all the way up into Kansas somewhere. Oklahoma got it about like we did. I don't know if they had. I don't think it was as cold there. Do what? Yeah, they got more precipitation, but it didn't freeze as bad. Some of theirs was coming down as raining and freezing. Wow, that's a lot of people. That could be like 3 or 4 city blocks in Oklahoma City, though. One place I don't ever care to visit again is Oklahoma City. That place is crowded. And I don't think it was ever designed to be that big. Well, they said the ice and snow that was coming across Colorado wasn't going to be enough to put out the fires. No, I have not frozen to death, Tipper. The electricity came back on, so we got the little heaters going. No internet though. So I still haven't found out whether that guy took a sword to the throat or to the eyeball. Pretty sure it's going to be the mouth. Can't have everything. Man, I hate that it doesn't leave the chat up there. Like I care if I can see me or whatever. What amazes me is that they apparently didn't get any of this ice. Hey, Killdeer, in Arkansas. Arkansas, Missouri is supposed to be colder than we are. But it's weird. There's the center of the country, the jet stream always dips down and then goes back up. And where it dips down, that's where the cold line is. And this time it just happened to dip down to us. It usually doesn't dip down this low, this early. But Foco, the only problem I have with that whole solar minimum about winter and this, that, and everything else is which it's, the sun's not doing anything. It's supposed to be a cold winter, but there was nothing wrong with the sun this summer. The sun this summer has got to be it's the harshest summer I remember as far as heat. Well, I don't know, that one that knocked me down, but that was a long time ago. That was 20 years ago. That was pretty rough. It was, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. It was, but it didn't get over 110 and stay over 110 this time, did it? We had over 110 degrees plus temperatures for like 7 or 8 days, 9 days in a row that year. And that's, when it's 110 degrees for 14 hours, that's hot. So, oh, you think so, Chipper? That's kind of what I wanted to talk about tonight anyway, was in all the, not necessarily weird, but some of the stuff that's out there. I mean, you can pick whatever apocalypse you want. I mean, right now, there's just, we're all going to die in a, um, what do you call it? Ice age, um, mud floods, the other one, the pandemic, um, hostile political takeover, economic collapse. We're primed for just anything you want to pick right now. The mud flood one's the one that really I think is amusing. And all the guys that are saying mud flood, there's going to be another mud flood. We're doing it. I'm like, well, we had to have had the first mud flood for there to be another one coming. But, um, all those pictures and stuff you're showing of those mud floods, if y'all would check the dates on those happened over periods of years in places where it rained for like 100 days straight, unseasonably, and the side of the mountain came loose because somebody dug a big giant hole in it. So, there was massive debris, mud flood coming down the creek because they had clear cut a bunch of the stuff up on the side of the mountain, and then it come a rain, and instead of it coming off the mountain slowly, it washed all of that junk down in the riverbed and then pushed it through the canyon. You could see all the chainsaws marks. So calm down. But people believe what I believe. The end. I felt prey to it myself. Nah, it's just supposed to be a funny one. If anybody's got any funny end of time prophecies or whatever they got going on there. The mud flood guys always show up in my suggested for whatever reason. I'm like, I'm not interested. That they're not as much fun. $300 cold. You think it'll be that long, Steve? You think it'll run? You think it'll run 300 years? I thought the guy that predicted the grand solar minimum, I thought he said it was going to be like 30 or 40. Not, yeah. We could see a landslide here. We got a lot of ice. When it melts, we could see, mud going all over the place. Anybody tries to turn this over to politics, and I will the X button. Not interested. There's 5 or 6 other people doing live streams on politics right now. If you want to go over there, it's fine. We were going to vote today, but we had early voting today in our county. We didn't make it to town. We'll have to wait to do it on the day because we only had one day of early voting here. Oh, what? No. What? Ah, you dropped a nice cue for you, funny. Yes, it does, Carol. Ah. So you think the what do you call it? I don't know, what were the average temperatures 300 years ago? When it was like the one at a warm period or something. Or wasn't that when there was like drought and famine in South America, in Mexico, because of the no rain or something like that? Not really good on history. If I had internet, I would Google it. You leaving already, team? Thought you were going to help me out on this cold weather forecasting stuff, man. I'm serious. I don't get all the good channels anymore. I never get good suggested. But it snows in April around here, or well, this part of the world sometime. I know, what was it like? When did we have the mini ice age? Wasn't that like 600-700 years ago? That ring around the woolly worms doesn't work. Yeah, there's where people are making mistakes on those acorns is they don't pick them up. They they literally don't. If you're not going to harvest them, you need to at least rake them up and compost them. That was due to a volcano. That was Mount Uzawatsit somewhere in Africa, I think, blew up somewhere. It was Mount Uzawatsit. I don't remember what it was called. Not enough to melt the snow or even rain and then freeze over. Well, so that's 10 years ago. Um, the they were talking about Alaska, and a bunch of Alaska was going to disappear because of the raising sea levels and washing the beaches and the villages away and stuff. I didn't see them change the map yet, though. The way they were talking, half of Alaska should be gone by now. Which that's something I have been looking into a little bit lately, is the land masses that were available, or not available, but there when the glaciers were bigger, when the when there was more ice on Antarctica and on the mountaintops and blah 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 blah. There was actually, and this was a long time ago, but there was actually livable land exposed, not underwater, between the Britons and Europe. You could walk from Britain to Europe. basically. What the hooch you wet? That river has been eating away parts of the valley. Well, yeah, because whenever the tide comes in at the river mouth or whatever, the tide would be higher. Something. A 3-foot tidal wave in Florida would wipe that place out. In some places. Womp, womp, womp. I've never understood how places could be high and dry and be below sea level, but it happens. Later, Christy. Hey, Bitty Boo. No. Welcome to the not having a Bible study tonight. Bible study night thing. I can't. I should have done some research on this stuff, but how many of y'all have heard about the mud flood stuff? And whether or not that's like a real thing? They're saying, well, none of them can get their dates right. They're saying though that is it somewhere in the 1700s or whatever, the entire New England area and a bunch of basically everywhere where there was people got covered in a giant mud slide of some sort, and they dug it out, and that's where all these orphans came from and junk like that. It's had all these hey Aaron, all these people, all these orphans getting shipped in and bussed into places and stuff. And I mean, where else do you come up with all these orphans and this, that, and everything else? I don't know. There's the whole, what do you call it? Potato famine. Am I okay? Who's okay? Who are you asking about, Biddy? Cold. Hey, Jay. And y'all forgive me, I'm on my phone, so the chat's not staying up. My throat's killing me. I've been iced in all day. Got got a deadline on the house I'm working on. I haven't been able to get there for 3 days. So there was no way I was going to make the deadline anyway. And now there's really no way I'm going to make the deadline. So I've got to disappoint the people that hired me and tell them that I need more time. So. And my cough's back with a vengeance. It's
not raining now. It was icing. Jay asked if it was raining here. It's been raining there since Monday.
It is not raining here. It quit precipitating last night sometime, didn't it?
Yeah.
Sometime early in the night or this morning. And it's just been melting and falling off everything today. We've had we got upwards of a inch of ice on all our trees and stuff like that, and it's broken the top out of 4 or 5 of the trees, the big trees that we had, and damaged some of the stuff that was under the trees, which kind of sucks.
MB, whatever that is, that evening class. T-Board said howdy.
Hey, T-Board.
Katie said still raining there. Rachel said hot water, honey, and lemon last.
How about coffee? AMB. How about coffee with honey in it? And I'll get into the bourbon here in a minute. AC 103.
Jay said, I saw videos of the ice in Texas and Oklahoma. We were lucky and it just did not get cold enough here in Missouri.
Yeah, what do they call that? We had Arctic blast come through.
Diddy said no ice so far in my area, but Oklahoma City got hit more.
Yeah, that's what I was telling them earlier, is that there's that the jet stream dips down into Texas, the heart of Texas, and brings cold and then goes back up. The ice usually doesn't make it as far as Dallas. It does every once in a while. And then, man, you should see the pileups over there, because them people don't have a clue. I mean, it happens over here twice a winter on average. So we know that a couple of times a year we just stay home because, well, we don't drive on it enough to know how to drive on it. Most of the guys in the bar ditch and stuff are the guys with the 4-wheel drive trucks that think they're impervious to ice. No. Riley, hey Riley. I should have got up in the attic and stole some of that honey from them bees while it was cold. And we get the snow is uncommon. We get ice storms. And, you can mess this stuff up. But the other side of it is, when we get the ice storms, this place used to be covered up with grain silos, this area, because the people knew that if they would put wheat in, the wet time of the year was the right time of the year for wheat, and the harvest time of the year was dry and sunny, which is the right time for wheat. And then after they harvested the wheat, they would have time for to put in cowpeas. But nobody grows wheat anymore. Nobody grows wheat or black-eyed peas, so everybody's trying to make a living off of cotton. There is no reason for all the cotton that's produced in this world every year to be produced in this world every year. What Chipper say? Actually, Chipper, I do that. In the ice or whatever. I used to keep still got them running somewhere. They're you can get 1/4 inch self-tapping screws or whatever, but you can't go hauling butt down the highway or whatever. But if you put them into the tread on your vehicle, you can drive on the ice just fine. If you ever have to lock them up, your tires up, though, they'll pop them out. If you've got 9-ply or better tires, all-terrain tires, you can use the 1/2 inch ones as long as you keep them on the outside of the tread without worrying about getting into the part of the tire that holds the air. But I used to, I kept. Hey, Steve, I kept those little screws though because you're at work and then you come out and then boom, there's ice everywhere. You can put you can put them in relatively quickly with a nut driver. So at all you people lurking. So you had a way to get some traction. But like I say, on those short ones, you had to be careful because you could pop them out and you go nailing it or whatever. You had to drive easy, but you'll be safe. And they're not illegal. Most places in this Texas, you're not allowed to run snow tires. So, do I, babe? Hey, Jim Farmer and Walter Davis. Hello. There's not. My key to success on icy roads is I just don't get on them. I've had people tell me to show up or look for a new job, and I just look for a new job. I've actually woke up sweating last night. Which tells me you got a little bit too much blanket. If my feet get cold, I can't sleep. But if they're too warm, then I sweat. So. And that works fine, Jay. But then you've always got these challenged individuals who want to pass you. And then the next thing you know, you got road grime and chunks of sludge coming up at your windshield, and they've spun out of control, and you've got some guy doing 360s in front of you down the highway. They're doing 65, 70 miles an hour, and you're just hoping they don't dig in and flip. I've had guys pass me. We get caught out and you got to drive home. I've had guys pass me lose control, spin out, go down the embankment on an overpass, do a couple more 360s in the uh, on the frontage road, get going the right direction, and then just nail it, drive through all the stuff that's going on down there, come back up on the access road, the on ramp to the interstate ahead of me. And you're like, that's not proving you can drive in the snow. And just keep the foot down. You're like, okay, did they steal that? Just, I mean, people don't care. I guess they got better insurance than I do. I don't want to be responsible for taking somebody else's, because when you screw up driving, it's not usually you that takes you out. It's usually you taking somebody else out. No, the guy didn't hit anything. And that's these people that do this stuff all the time. They don't ever hit anything. They just, they got a guardian angel that is on steroids, so they think they're invulnerable. Oh, geez. And see, you can get away with running chains down here. People own them. I've got a cassette somewhere, but they have to fit your tires. And they're only good if you got real ice. I mean, if all you've got, because we'll on the pavement down here, we'll wind up with a quarter, half an inch of ice, and yeah, it's understandable if you've got to do it, but if like the missus, I mean, if you take a day and a half off and then you're driving on good roads, then why not just take the day and a half? Guys out in the oil field, they're waiting for it to rain so they can get they got a rain circle drawn out there, but all of a sudden everything's iced over or whatever, and they're the worst human being. They're a useless whatever if they don't go to work or whatever. It's yeah. I wouldn't be a good union guy because I'm not. If the weather sucks, I ain't going to work. I've worked in ice. I've worked in the sleet. I've worked in mud. I mean, literally sucking mud up to my knees. And I'm done with all that. Yeah, see, snow-packed roads you can drive, you put chains on or snow tires or whatever, and you can make out okay. But the downside to down here is, I mean, people want to run them snow tires. Next thing you know, they're making sparks. And tearing up the pavement, starting fires. These paved roads out here, people don't get that chain they're not worried about that's dragged between them and the trailer. You know, yeah, it's high carbon steel. There's flint in the asphalt like nobody's business. You know, you see them at night and it looks like a fireworks display going off. But um, they want to say that the only that all them fires are getting started by people throwing cigarette butts out. Until you talk to the firefighters around here, one of the things that's plastic bags and people with uh, people pull off the road after going down the highway for, you know, 2 hours or whatever, and their catalytic converter be boiling hot. They pull over so they can take a leak, and then they take off, and they've left a fire in the bar ditch. You know, it's and it's easy to tell what causes it. You know, because there's evidence left behind on every one of them. Is that's I don't want to live anywhere where one of the jobs you can get is plowing roads. I don't want to do that. Uh, if Foco's right about the um, in me, you know, I still think that the worst possible thing that could happen is another um, mini ice age, a prolonged mini ice age. If something like that occurs or whatever, the snow line's going to come way further south than it is right now. And the rain patterns are going to change. That's what people don't get. A lot of the marshes and inland lakes and stuff like that that occurred after the ice ages and stuff weren't from precipitation; they were from melt. And it takes a while for the glaciers to melt and start all that stuff. The reason, like this part of the world, it'll be in a drought because the moisture that would ordinarily fall here is going to go ahead and fall further north in the form of frozen precipitation. So, see, because California, Southern California is already, it's it can't be done. It's Las Vegas, Los Angeles, all that. There's not enough water. If the people that actually own that water decide to quit letting it flow to California, because them farmers are not going to give up their livelihood so more people can move into that city. They're not going to do it. They're telling them that they've got to start shutting off the irrigation. No, y'all need to quit using so much water. They're going now. One of the things is California needs to do, like Big Springs is doing, and all that water that goes in the sewer treatment plant needs to be treated, run right back into their drinking water. If they want to live in that shithole, they need to drink their own piss. The end. I don't drink the water in Big Springs. They're supposedly have their treatment plant to a level where they can produce potable water from the water treatment plant. I mean, they're they're not using. I mean, they're not recycling the water. They're just pumping it off somewhere. Um, you know, if granted, most of y'all stuff comes in gravity feed or whatever, but if y'all don't want to re-drink it or bathe in it or whatever, then you need to be pumping it back up so that the agriculture back over a couple of states over can use it for irrigation, which is what they wanted to use it for to begin with. There are huge pecan orchards and walnut orchards. There's huge orchards that are just dying because they've literally cut the irrigation canals that fed them, that they were able to water their orchards. They don't open the gates there anymore because that water has been sold to a city. And that's kind of not cool. So, I mean, I know the people need to drink water, but there's people over there take three. I mean, they get up in the morning and shower and then go to the gym and work out and then shower and then go home and shower. And I mean, there's 3 showers in a day. Um, it's nuts. Nobody's coming up. Nobody wants to talk about anything weird and funny. I've tried to get over on the mud flood and the ice age twice. Nobody wants to talk about nothing good. Well, that's um, what's Central Valley? You can't ship water from the United States to China. I hope that's not what you're saying. If China wanted fresh water, it'd be cheaper for them to get it from like the polar ice cap order. I'm gonna go get some coffee. Oh, what a miss! What a miss! What a miss! Okay, where's the proof of that one? I mean that. Uh, doesn't fresh water sink in salt water, or does it float on top of salt water? Hold on, hold on, hold on. Hey Trey. Hey, Golden. It's thinner, but um, I know there was a shortage of water over in California, but that was because they're using it or whatever. Now uh, they've dammed up that river in so many places that it doesn't flow anymore, and that one and a couple others, and they pump so much water out of it for irrigation and stuff like that to produce the food for their overpopulated country that the by the time the rivers get into China, there's nothing, or to India, there's nothing left. And I don't know, water sells for more than or bottled water sells for more than gasoline, so I guess it could be. What a high end bottled water goes for $5 or $6 for 10 ounces or something like that. You know, like $5 a liter. You know, gasoline ain't even $2 a gallon right now. Now selling our water to China, that would have been ludicrous. I know they were selling a lot of it to cities like Las Vegas and stuff in the Southern California. I don't know what 5 million gallon water bladders would look like. If that's the case, then we're pretty much guaranteed a war, because if you don't have water, you're going to die. So you go take over the country that has clean water. But China's polluted water, again, that's not their fault. That's our fault. We were buying all the junk they were making because we wanted to see that rollback sign. Ooh, they rolled that back a penny and a half. Can't blame nobody but us. You know, it's cheaper to make the whole lights over there than it is over here. They got union busters over there. Y'all gonna form a what? They call those boys out there in the back. We got a bunch of folks lined up needing a job. We just shoot all these. That was a little dark. Come on, it is communist China, for crying out loud. Which I don't know if communist China is as bad as they're saying. You would think that if communism was that bad for them, I mean, it's not going to work here. But you would think that if it was that bad and there's that many people, you got 200,000 guys with guns, they're not going to tell 200 million people with sticks no forever. It doesn't work. Chinese people are not stupid. Yeah. But we'll talk about anybody that has any knowledge of mud floods, the dinosaurs returning to Earth in 5 years. We can't talk about the flat Earth though. We can talk Ice Age if y'all want to, because I like Ice Age. We can talk Hollow Earth theory if you want. Up in the, they took away my flat Earth, so I'm having to look at Hollow Earth stuff. I like that one. If we wanted to get guns to the Chinese people, we could get guns to the Chinese people. If the Chinese people wanted guns, oh, there's Google it. Dude, everything I need to make a gun is in my outside in the yard, and I just had my hands on those. Strike Anywhere matches, man. It's they make guns over there out of pipes all the time. It's not that hard to do. Supposedly, Chipper, which makes all the sense in the world. There's that one basin out there that supposedly still like a little inland sea, or was it inland sea or whatever, which they actually want to dig a tunnel, or not a tunnel, a canal from the Gulf of California back to the Salton Sea to fill the Salton Sea back up. Because it used to, at some point, the thing is, they would have to, the canal would have to cross Mexico. And then Mexico would want rights to the Salton Sea. And blah, blah, blah. I don't think I'll ever work. I think we should just work a deal for Baja California. We should just buy Baja California from Mexico. That's the story. But there's an inland sea. What's left of an inland sea here? You can find shark's teeth. What is it? 40 miles from the house? You just got to go up on top of the cap and start walking around and digging and find shark's teeth in the sand and gravel. Shark's teeth, seashells all over the place. Yes, that's where how the Salton Sea got started. And then they fixed whatever was causing the Salton Sea to get run off. And they're actually, because Southern California needs so much, Southern California and Nevada need so much water, they can't unfix the deal. They can't put the water back in that way. So that's why they're trying to get water from the Gulf of California. Apparently, it wouldn't be that big of a dig. There's very little rise. Would I ever move to LA? Nah, nope. As it stands right now, I don't know that I would visit Southern California. I'd like to go to Baja, though. I'd like to go to the Baja Peninsula. I don't know if I'd ever make it out of there, though. Apparently, the biggest problem they have with the Baja Peninsula is they have trouble with fresh water. Apparently, it doesn't rain that much down there. Go figure. I would like to go down there and run that race, though. I just don't have the money to put a vehicle together that would do it. If I tried borrowing my wife's Bronco when she gets it to go down there, I'd die. I wouldn't try it in a Blazer. Stuck out in the desert. What's wrong with the Chevrolet? It broke. Yeah, they try to, Chipper. Yeah, Baja does sound nice when you're iced out, or iced in, rather. Just cough medicine. I wouldn't do it in a Raptor. I mean, that's what the Raptor was built for, but if you're going to run, they always ruin racing by making it to where the guy with the biggest checkbook wins. And that's what I like about NASCAR is they say, okay, y'all can spend all the money you want, but it's this, and this. I mean, all the cars have to be shaped the same. The engine has to be the same size. Yada, yada, yada. It's the driver and the team is what's going to make it or break it. Did you say, Walter, about a Raptor? But I used to build Baja vehicles back before I married my loving wife, and I've actually been plugging her to see about maybe building one more before I get too old to enjoy this. Everybody gonna start talking about their pretty weather now. a Baja vehicle, it's I'm not, like I say, I'm not going to run in that Baja truck class. I'm not going to run in the supercharged class. Um, you don't get airborne in a Baja race unless you have to, because if you break your freaking suspension, you're out of the race. A road rally, which is what the Baja started out as, a rally race is to see if the vehicle can take it, not to see if you can build a specialized vehicle that can take it, but if you can build a vehicle that will take it. Um, Ford Mustang actually won one once. That was a long time ago. If I built another rally car, for starters, I wouldn't do, there's not a single, I take that back. If I could go and buy a new vehicle to build my car and go run it, I would go to Subaru and look and see what they had. I would start with the Subaru. Um, I'd have to probably special order one because I want it vanilla. I don't want no power seats, no power windows. Um, I don't want air conditioning. Because that's weight. Um, you got to put a roll cage in it, and yada yada, this and that and everything else. You've got to have 4 spare tires. Um, you got to carry your own tools and this, that, and everything else. Blah blah blah. And I don't know what the new rules are. But what I used to do was get old Toyotas and beef them up a little bit. I didn't put a roll cage in mine. I just put a roll bar. Wasn't planning on flipping the thing upside down. Because that is not how you win a race. I've seen that. Rachel Chipper's telling the truth. It's funny to watch. Mrs. Chipper's just over there screaming, "Free Willy, Free Willy." I would love to get my hands on a 74, 75 Toyota Corolla 2-door. Or a Celica. What Anonymous put that he got deleted for? I want to freaking view the thing. Oh, okay. Here, let me fix it real quick. I can do this, I think. Give it to me. Well, now it won't give me the option. Anonymous, say something. No, he deleted one of your messages. Now say something. Say anything. Type in the letter A and hit send. There. Perfect. Have everybody, and don't put his real or his old name or whatever out there as who doesn't know who Anonymous American is. You put it like that. Hold on, wait a minute. Wait, quit. I've been passing mid-70s scrolling. Oh, figures. Yes, do not abuse it, Joey. I mean, American. I'm still thinking about taking my son's rich away. Yeah, I ain't actually figured it out before I did. I just wasn't paying any attention to it. It's what do you call it? I've raced a Ford Pinto in the rallies. The Pinto was an excellent rally car. It had a little bit of an issue with the back hatch popping open, but other than being a death trap if somebody rear-ended you, it wasn't that bad a car. Toyotas and the old Datsuns weren't any good. They didn't have any power at all. See, there's a difference between off-roading and rally racing. They're totally different. You're actually supposed to stay on the road when you're rally racing. The roads are crap, but you're supposed to stay on the roads. Matter of fact, they map out roads that are really crappy on purpose because it's supposed to torture your vehicle, but it's supposed to be on the road. But there's not a whole lot of money to be made in the big rally races and stuff because they're just not. So they kind of went to the wayside. They have a 5,000 mile race in Africa. It, I tried to run a Chevette once. Those don't work with crap. The V8s had too much torque for me. Yeah, there's that. I can make a manual transmission and a four banger engine do things that they should not do. Now, granted, I can lung one out pretty fast too. But once you figure out where the power band is in your engine, you can make them do amazing things. I do miss driving like a fool. But I switched from, well, I gave uh, hot rods a try for a while. It's just that was a lot of time and energy and money to put into something that, it just ripped your heart out when you wrecked it. So yep. I played around with one Mazda one time. Those are fun little cars. The downside of the Corolla is they're when you strip them down and put the cage in them and stuff, they're really light. So you got to be real careful with the back end. But when you got the extras in there, because you take out all unnecessary weights, you carry the other weight. Oh, I don't know. Dang it. I redline my little green truck all the time when I'm on road trip. I hate being on the road. Mazda had those little rotary engines on. Those things were tough. I have my phone plugged into the power supply. Check to see how hot it's not too bad. It's plenty cold in here is why it's not too hot, I guess. That was the problem with Mazda. As much those rotary engines anyway, as fast as you could push them is as fast as they would go. They outrun the rest of the car. You only need to go as fast as your brakes will stop you. If your brakes can't stop you, you're going too fast. Yeah, that's why they put them on airplanes. I actually know where there's a old Mazda that the guy got put in the penitentiary. The vehicle's only got like 30,000 miles or 38,000 miles or something on it. Bought brand new. The guy's been in the pen and that thing's just sitting there in the driveway. It's a brand new little Mazda rotary. That's what are those silly little RXs and RX-7 or whatever? Those things didn't have anything on the back end of them. They were real bad about turning the back end loose. Because you could open one up. Not if you're gonna just hot foot it all the time. I mean, they'll drink whatever you want to give them. They'll drink. Um, it wasn't mine, but I drove a Celica one time that had twin carburetors on it. Um, that thing was not fuel efficient, but it was a blast to drive. Drove a Triumph with twin carburetors on it. Was not fuel efficient, but a blast to drive. Uh, my favorite car to drive, actually just putting around, just goofing off, not racing, not just out there making a fool of myself, would be if I had to pay, if I could only have one car to get my old man on, it would be an MG, a little two-seater car, one that doesn't have all the mechanical problems and stuff. But a little two-seater convertible, have to pour yourself into it and park under a frame to drag yourself out of. I just think they're fun. Now I'd take a Celica too. Rachel, you're just trying to be mean now. Now I had a Monza that would do 150. A little Chevy Monza. They had a Buick engine in it. A Buick 3.2 liter V6 is a mean motor scooter, just for the record. Had a couple of people offer to buy it off of me, but they wanted to buy the car to put it in they wanted to put a V8 in it. Wanted to make a short road car out of it. That's the car I brought my kid home from the hospital in. Got rid of it shortly after that. Well, I had to with some guy got upset with me and dumped sandblasting sand into my valve covers. But it was the stuff that was basically about as coarse as flour was. So, it actually cycled through the engine, got suspended in the oil, and it gutted the motor. But sure, yeah, that annoyed me. I was going to rebuild the engine, I just never got around to it. I outran a few local cops, but I never tried to outrun the IPO or whatever. If it was black and white, I'd shut it down. Because you can outrun a lot of things, you can't outrun the radio. That was why I like the Toyota Corollas, because you could strip them down and there was no weight on them, and without the weight, you could do amazing things in one of them. That's why I know that what's wrong with today's vehicles is the weight. They weigh too much. Now, I like the Tacomas. I don't like the Tundras. Yeah, um, yeah, it's not gonna happen. Yeah, those didn't last long with me, but it was a good 3 or 4 years. The first fast vehicle I ever drove had it was a Ford pickup truck with a 390 in it. It was a fast truck. And then got introduced to small engines and small cars, and just thought that was the best thing. But I mean, I came up when we were we were more worried about the fact that gasoline had became stupid expensive than anything else. And money was tight, so they'd spend half your paycheck on fuel, or you could figure out a way to have fun and only spend a quarter of your paycheck on fuel, and that left you a quarter of your paycheck for liquor and the other part for bills and such. So, what's the electronics and the side impact and the front impact and the analog brakes and the uh, just all that crap, airbags, power windows. You know, the vehicles are now they're twice the weight as they were 10 years ago, 10, 15, 20 years ago. It's crazy. It's, it's crazy. I mean, back then the car had 14-inch tires on it, and now they've got 20s. You used to have a 10-inch, 10, 12-inch disc brake on them, and now disc the disc brakes are 15 inches around. They used to be 3/4 or an inch thick or whatever. Now they're inch and a half. You used to have, I mean, they just, I mean, they're better than they were, but the weight's crazy. This was an epic failure as far as live stream goes, because we didn't talk about any crazy stuff. I wanted to talk about crazy stuff. I know I'm not the only person out here that's been watching YouTube videos on crazy stuff. I know more about the tsetse fly than I ever thought I was going to learn. They're disgusting little creatures. It almost sounds like it's raining outside. I think that's just runoff off the roof, though. Horse videos? What kind of horse videos? Like how to train your horse, funny horse videos. What lizard, Rachel? Did I miss something on Instagram or something? That's not gonna. I'm trying to scroll with my mouse. I wish they'd let us dig up some of those mounds in Ohio or Iowa or wherever they're at. Oh. That's right. Your gecko. Public service announcement. Thank you, Anonymous. Hey, Desert. The Need to get my chainsaw out. I may be able to make some spare change running around town cutting trees out of people's driveway and get a bunch of free firewood. I don't know anything about that. The Cape Complex in the Grand Canyon. But I would kind of like to find out more about the giants. They say, it would be really easy to disprove it. All you got to do is let us dig. If they're not burial mounds, they're not burial mounds. Found out hobbits were real. Or maybe J.R.R. Tolkien run across an archaeological site when he was younger and invented hobbits. Well, I was thinking about giants the other day because think about Andre the Giant, the wrestler dude, and his son, the Big Show. There's really big people. Okay, and has anybody seen the women's NBA, or what is it called, the Women's Professional Basketball Association, or whatever it is? There are a lot of really, really tall women out there. There are some really, really tall men out there. We just don't hear about them. Still convinced there's a continent out in the Pacific that nobody's allowed to go to. I think there's another place, kind of like Australia out there, that's where all the thems and the days live. Yep. Back before they started trying to cover everything up so they could basically disprove the Bible, there were all kinds of stuff being found that kind of made it sound like the stuff that went on in the Bible may have been, the gospel. And some of the religious people out there, they're saying that, like, giants are um, throwbacks to demon spawn or whatever. I don't particularly like those folks. And I don't like the ones that say that white folks are either. They want to scream racist, 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 and then say that you just because you're white, you're old demon spawn. That don't even make no sense. White folks is the same as everybody else. Nobody, this thing is, I broke it and it's stuck in my driver. This is supposed to be a quick disconnect sort of little ends. And that little spring's messed up. You can't get this thing out. I just pick it up and try it periodically. Hoping that something has changed. Nothing has changed. Thing was like $4. Yeah. Wait, who cheated on political? I didn't see the. You work night, Scotsman? That sucks. Um, well, unless you enjoy it, and then that's cool, I guess. I don't know. I work nights, and I kind of like to work at nights because everybody else was at home, and I had the whole field to myself. Um,
So the police officer got shot in Mexico tonight for trying to write a ticket.
seriously?
Lost Lunas.
They ain't gonna do nothing but get worse. That other thing that's blowing up there. Ah, that's funny, Walter. Roads are mostly empty and what? Yeah, the lights stay green. When I was night riding, which is what they call it, basically you're uh, a pumper, but you don't have to actually gauge the tanks. Um, you just go around and make sure everything stays running. If you need to hit a reset or whatever, there's uh, where I was working, there was a guy at the gas plant, and then you. And 90% of the time, everything went smooth. So you were looking at 12 hours, showed up at 7 o'clock, worked straight through to 7 o'clock. Took you could make a complete round through the field in 20 minutes, or you could idle through it and make a round every hour and a half. And depending on the day, depending on how I did it, um, you learn the field. You know, you could literally drive through and okay, that piece of equipment's running, yada yada yada. You know, if you drove by and a piece of equipment that should be running at this time of night wasn't running, you get out with your flashlight and you check and see if you just missed it or if it hadn't quite kicked on yet, or it was actually really easy money. Um, it actually paid $2 more an hour than the daytime job did. You know, like say you didn't have to climb any of the tank batteries. Rachel there. I just would have never pictured Aid as a cat person. Like meow 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 kind of dude. Um, I don't know. I guess being trying to stereotype people, I just figured him for like a bulldog person. What do y'all build? Uh, Scotsman, if you don't mind my asking. That's another place I worked nights was in a welding place. That job sucked. Well, that's not true. I actually enjoyed the night shift was at that welding place was okay. It was the day shift that sucked. I couldn't stand the day shift, so they wouldn't switch me to not back to night, so I quit them. Went back to working in an oil field. In retrospect, it's a pretty good deal. You don't have to tell me like the company name or whatever. Used to work at a place we built asphalt plants, belly dumps, and parts for Humvees. Oh, that's cool. I worked at a vessel manufacturing place for a while, about 8 months. We didn't make the vessels on my end. We just made tank batteries. That was probably one of the easiest welding jobs I ever had. I literally sat for hours a day. I just ran jet rod all day long. Look, took 24 rods. 24 rods to make a round. No, I take that back. I don't know how many rods it took to make a round. I could get 23.5 inches per rod, 23.5 inches of weld per rod. And each tank had 160 linear feet of weld on the bottom. Yep. Probably right. Um, well, that's not too bad. Hey, I ran by alien cat to infiltrate the prepper community. That's probably it. Yeah, I switched to maintenance at the end of my career. Probably the most fun I had was being a maintenance guy because I had to use everything I'd ever learned about anything: mechanicing, welding, rigging, construction, concrete. I had to use it all. Electrical, hated that part. You know where the freaking uh, lockouts are. Used to do machine work too. I like that, but we didn't. We got pushed out of the business by the CNC people. Well, what it is AID is trying to figure out, or AID's cat programmers are trying to figure out whether or not y'all are joking or whether or not y'all are really onto him. He's in standby mode. Come to think of it, we've never seen AID from the waist down, so he could just be a hollow, like, cat puppet. That's kind of a gross picture, but like with a cat running his mouth and then cats running his arms. I think he could successfully do it with just like 3 cats. No, not particularly chipper. I'm just saying that he probably is just a robot. But instead of max headroom, he's cat headroom. And we think he's assigned each one of us our own emoji when actually he's just writing our name in Cantonese cat hieroglyphics. And none of us were quick enough to pick up on that. We love you, Aid. Don't leave the stream and unsubscribe us. We wouldn't know what to do without our limey brother. Even if you are just a cat robot. A robot cat. No. A human robot powered by cats. What if cats are the answer to all of the world's energy problems? What if instead of an Energizer bunny, yeah, only talking. Instead of actually, you could just like plug a cat into your vehicle, and as long as it was stroking him behind the ear and it was purring, your vehicle would just run off the mysterious purr. That Chipper's got a mean cat. Yeah. When they realize that you're not a pod person too, and they just start screaming at you. Ever wonder if maybe the Karens aren't actually Karens and they're just pod women? Because that's all they do is just point and scream. That's I don't think you gotta get that one to purr, Rachel. Um, but if you decide to pet it and try, you need to put that on Instagram. They don't eat much, Rachel. I'll give you that. Did we run? Hey, did we run you off? Or I mean, did they run you off? Because I'm saying nothing but nice things about you. And Frankie don't eat any dog food. The two dogs I have now, they eat a massive amount of dog food, which I've got to let them silly animals in here in a minute. They've been out most of the day. They went out with me when I was taking some pictures of the ice, and I came back in and they weren't there, so they didn't get to come back in. Anyway, folks, that's coming up on 2 hours. That's like a plenty long enough. We're not going for any records tonight. And this is on my phone, so can invite anybody over. Still don't have internet. So in case y'all wondering what I keep leaning over looking at. Keep checking to see if I've got internet or not, because I actually use that for more than just watching TV. Food receipt. Let's see what we ate. Oh, this was good. If y'all are ever in Scurry County and you happen to catch this place open, Mrs. Kathy's Southern Kitchen. The food is disgusting. I had the smothered steak, which is basically chicken fried steak that you do like a hamburger steak. And the missus had the hamburger steak. It's really good. First day it was out about 2 hours, and then they got it back on relatively quickly. And today, how long was it out today? It was a long time today. It was 3 or 4 hours. That's another reason for living in the rural part of the world. You don't have to do without.
Being on the co-op, they're always faster than the other one.
Yeah, there was that one day, that one time that it was actually the service to our house. So we were at the end of the line of getting it fixed. And that was 2 days, something like that. A little over 2 days, 2.5 days without power. But you could tell the guys were run ragged when they showed up. They had to repair the burnt cable, and then the surge had blown the transformer. So while one guy was fighting his way in there to where they could get to the pole with the truck, the other guy hauled back to town and got a transformer, and he come out, and then they stuck a new transformer up on the pole for it. Then they went to the house. Oh man, I'm getting sleepy. No, I don't have solar panels. I used to have a solar charger for the phones, but that it blew up. Thank you, for Patriots. Um, yeah, we've looked at some solar panels. They're pretty steep. There, you can get the cheap ones from Harbor Freight or whatever, and we could put something together. But the panels aren't that expensive. It's your storage that's expensive. You know, takes a lot of batteries to stack up enough juice to do you any good. We've thought about getting a generator, but in a major deal like this, when it's cold and the power goes out, you take the stuff out of the refrigerator and you put it outside. And then you don't have to worry about it. If Oh, you need lights. You should have candles and kerosene lanterns. The only thing that you need electricity for in the modern day, really, when it's cold, is something to charge your phone up. And this thing will charge his phone from 0 to 100% like uh, 8 or 10 times. So, well, it won't right now because it's only half charged. I actually had it charging back up before I started this stream. So, over halfway charged right now. And I can charge the laptop up off of it. Oh my goodness. No, I can't charge the laptop up off this. But they make deals with batteries like this. Like, I think there's a batteries twice this size, but it actually has enough power that it can jumpstart your car. Yeah, I don't scented candles or whatever like that. And honestly, the good candles to have for lighting in an event are the candles in the jars or glass, whatever things. Light one of those candles and it will burn for days. You don't have to worry about the wax running out the side and pooling up in your little candle holder. It's the melted wax that's burning. So if you can keep that melted wax up there by the fire, your candle lasts longer. So. Dollar store candles or there's all kinds of stuff available out there, but for charging stuff or whatever, but I don't the gear that I spend money on it's got to be something that is have to have. And if everything goes down, then there's not going to be any internet or cell phone service anyway. So I don't need to keep my phone started up. As it is right now, I mean, all we got to do is walk outside and plug our phones into the vehicles, and that car battery will charge these phones a bunch of times before you have to worry about your vehicle not starting. I don't plan on charging, if I got a bug out or whatever, I don't plan on charging my phone while I'm bugging out. Because if I'm bugging out, it means that there is so bad that um, I'm running from everybody. So I'm not saying that I won't have something like this. And I'd like to get another one, the little solar charger deals. You know that you hang on the back of your backpack and the sun charges it, and you actually charge off of the battery that's in it. It's I mean, the one I have worked good until it didn't, and that some of that was my fault. Apparently you just can't leave them in the sun. My plan is to just find somebody with a ham radio. I'm I thought about getting a Bofang, but the range on those things is too limited to make it really worthwhile. There's a bunch of options. There's lightweight solar charging deals out there that fold up, not much bigger than a deal of folder that you can stick in your backpack. That's what I want. But those are um, those things run a couple $100. So uh, you can buy a lot of groceries for $200. Yep. In a ham radio, I should, from where I'm at, I should be able to talk to Dallas. I don't know that much about ham radios, but my brother used to do that stuff, and he used to be able to talk to a lot of people. Hell, I can get a mile with a good CB. Not an handheld CB, but I can get a mile with a good one. And honestly, a mile, for personal communication or whatever, yeah, it's great, but it's not. What's the deal? If you got to keep buying more and more stuff to make the Bofang work, it's and they're, I'm not busting on them. I'm just saying, for me personally, they're not something that I can justify buying. Um, we don't have a half a mile radius piece of property or whatever that we're going to try to maintain and keep human free or anything like that. We're not going to be running constant patrols on our property, or anything. We have some of them little handheld radios that you can talk to each other. You can whisper to each other 300 or 400 yards away, and that's it. Now the Bofangs came in handy in the Davies Mountains, but you had to have without the repeaters, then they're not doing you any good. Rob's house is 2.5 hours away. SHTF, uh, just be us going to Rob's house if we had to go up there. And actually, as it stands right now, it would be uh, I don't know. I don't know that I would try to get to Rob's house. And it's not that I don't want to be at Rob's house. It's that to get to Rob's house, I have to go through Lubbock, Texas. And I am not going through Lubbock, Texas in SHTF. It's a little mini Dallas. I need a lot of things. Me and Chip were talking on Instagram earlier. Um, there are a lot of holes in my prep thing, but you know, those holes require other people, and I don't have the people. So uh, a few people that we did know around here aren't here anymore. They've been gone. They left a long, long time ago. Um, our entire plan revolved around immediate family and immediate and extended family. And immediate and extended family doesn't work anymore. So she's the one that wants to get the handheld radios. We want to be able to stay. If I've got to go out back and cut wood, she wants me to be within radio contact. That makes sense. But do I need to have a radio that if I key the mic on it, um, somebody with a scanner is going to be able to pick up what I'm saying and know that I'm talking and know that, okay, I'm picking this signal up on this scanner. I have a range of 5 miles, blah, blah, blah. The better your stuff is, the more visible you are to other people is another side of it. See, I don't know what a tone and offset is. Like I say, I mean, we just want to have food and water and a place to stay dry and warm. Don't want to get in a firefight. Don't want to have to patrol against marauders. Have one too many birthdays for that. And about 3 too many birthdays for that. Yeah. Now, I guess if I was like super technical and yada yada yada, I could be the comms guy, but then I would have to spend the time and the energy and the money to learn the comms, and then there's people out there that did military service, and they're probably way more qualified to run comms than me. So you always see these old guys doing stuff like that in the apocalypse movies, but these apocalypse movies all happen 15, 20, 30 years after the event, like the Book of Eli. That's 30 years after the event. The older guys like Eli and the protagonists or whatever, they were young men, very young men when poop hit the van. That's how they knew the stuff. You know, and all the young men were like children when it happened, and they don't know squat. And all the children weren't born yet. So it's a, someone has to teach, but you know, I would like to have a active mag going around here. That's one of the reasons we want to get out of this part of the world, because nobody wants to form mags down here. They either um, they either already have one, or it's church based, or they have an organization that's church based, or it's just people that have known each other their whole lives, and or here, another thing that splits it is socio-economical status. Uh, so yeah, it's tricky. Well, yeah, Morse code's good to. Hey, Timo, man, you got here just in time for me to get off. I've been yawning for the past 20 minutes. Um, there's more like-minded people in the Ozarks or up in Oklahoma than there are down here. Nobody, I mean, nobody wants to move to the desert and prep because it's stupid. Um, we moved back here from a big city because I'd be safer over there and better and blah blah blah. And then they started doing something here that I never expected them to do. There was no oil field around my house, none, and so it was reasonably safe. The water was going to be safe, the air was going to be safe, and now I'm surrounded by windmills and oil wells. And the last place you want to be is within 10 miles of a freaking oil well if the grid goes down. Because if those things aren't taken care of, they start to blow out. And then after they blow out, then you've got gases, noxious liquids, you've got no groundwater, got no surface water, you've got poisonous gas drifting around all over the place. I did a video on it a long time ago. I mean, Google hydrogen sulfide. Um, there's 5 to 10 years after a major event, the Permian Basin is going to be a no man's land. You're not going to be able to breathe down there. I mean, you'd be literally Russian roulette trying to get from here to Pecos. I mean, um, you literally have to have a herd of chihuahuas trained to walk in front of your camel. And when the first chihuahua fell out, you would know that you've gone too far. And H2S hugs water. So, you could lose your camel the first time you come to a place where he's thirsty. It's, I want to get away from the oil field. Well, I want to get away from where there's acidizing. I mean, hydrogen sulfide is just part of fracking. I mean, when we start doing the fracking and the acidizing, that's number next. So. You still talk with Survival Comms, Timo? All right, Golden. I think I'm still subscribed to him, but I don't get notifications. I have ice cold. It's like 60 degrees in my house, in case y'all wonder why I have on a coat. Jacket. Hoodie. There's a few good calm people out there. Just between vehicle payments, medical bills, mortgages, unforeseen events, and stuff like that. I mean, I just don't have, just can't afford to fill all the holes in our stuff. If they would lift this stupid lockdown and, or, we went back to supporting one household, it would be better. But, can't throw people to the wolves just because you want stuff. It's not Christian. So just cover the basics: food, water, keep the roof over our heads, and go from there. And that's the downside to it. All these little add-on things or whatever, they're consumable. You get the little solar charger, and then you don't have it anymore because it's only good for so many times. You get the little gasoline generator or propane powered or diesel power generator, but it's only good for so many hours. Exactly, C103. I'm actually giving serious thought to coming over and checking out what Sasquatch has going on over there. We need to stay in Texas though, because that's, I mean, my wife can make good money in Texas. She has to start all over with all our licenses if she leaves the state. We could go into Oklahoma as long as she could drive back to go to work, which limits the part of Oklahoma we can be in. Because she doesn't want to commute an hour one way every day. Which that one place we were looking at in Arkansas, that would be, with 38 minutes to make 10 miles. Jeez, that was crazy. Well, that was more than 10 miles. What was that, like 12? 12 or 13 miles? You had to want to be where we were at. There was no reason to shortcut through. Uh-oh. Yeah, my puppy discovered antique literature. But that's okay. He's actually been doing pretty good about pooping in the house and stuff. I wind up stuck with that daggum dog. But he's not killing chickens, which is a good thing. Well, that's harsh, Robert. Anyway, I'm going to get off of here. Thank all you people for coming in. Thanks for all the thumbs up. Basically, yeah, Rachel, I've thought about that more than once. There are a lot of towns out there that are just almost dead that a guy could come in and buy everything up. And the few old timers that were still left there wouldn't mind a bit seeing young people around. But you gotta be careful with healers and foul. They're usually pretty good with the rest of it. This one so far so good. Anyway, thank all you people. Still love all you patrons out there. I really do. Appreciate it. I'm going to start doing videos. I know I keep saying that, but I've got 15 or 20 started editing. I just gotta find the rest of the video. I know it's there. I've just gotta find it so I can finish it. So I can put some stuff out that's actually worth your time. So love all you people. Y'all still alive. Do not die. See y'all. The next time I decide to go live, look for me. So make sure you got the bell wrong. Love all y'all.